I'm Joshua Cade, designer of Dungeon Tape, and welcome to Happy Little Dungeons. When I was in my early teens, I was fairly active in the map-making communities for games like Team Fortress Classic and Counter-Strike. And now, since I've started Dungeon Tape, I thought it'd be fun to do some short videos, kind of outlining general map making theories as well as design standards or drawing standards that I used when I was a DO. Why not showcase a little Dungeon Tape and have a little fun on the way? Anyway, again, I'm Joshua K. Welcome to the first episode. Before we start making this, I thought I would address one of the main questions that I get about Dungeon Tape is how easy is it to clean up? Well, it's very easy. This is a vinyl board that I use, but I left this tape on here 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it peels off very easily. And no mess, doesn't leave any sticky residue, and it leaves the board ready to go again. So I'm just going to peel the rest of this off, and we can get started. So for our first episode of Happy Little Dungeons, we're actually just going to make a building. Start off simple, ease into some more complicated stuff later. None of it's that complicated. So let's go. I got my Dungeon Tape, the stone walls, and we're just going to make a few little walls here. Point of note, boxes act as little dispensers. So let's just start off this guy here. Easy enough. You can tear Dungeon Tape, or you can use scissors. Sometimes I just tear. That's easy enough. Let's see where we're at. So this is going to be a simple little farmhouse. Let's just say they're a goblin farmer, because goblins need to eat as well. Right now we're looking at about 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 by 35 by 30. It's not a bad sized building. Enough room to fit a couple of things in there. Maybe some secrets. Or maybe just goblins and farm equipment. Who knows? So what I am going to do is cut this off a little short, because every good building or room where encounters are going to take place needs an alternate entrance or exit. As an architect, I can say if it's a commercial building, it definitely needs a fire exit. So maybe in the back of the house, we'll have a little secret exit. Maybe it's got a door. Maybe it's just behind a bookshelf. I think this one's going to be behind a bookshelf. So, got the basic layout of the building itself. Let's actually put, just for flavor, a couple little wing walls up front. Wing walls help buttress the place, a lot of the front facade, and maybe this is kind of falling down, so we're going to make these kind of in ruin. I'm going to tear some little extra pieces, just to give it a little bit of a crumbly effect. Why? Because goblins, although good in packs, are not the greatest at construction and regular maintenance. That's just a fun goblin fact for you. So, got our main building. Now I'm going to use some of my symbolic stickers, symbol stickers essentially. I've got doors and windows. We will put the front door a little off center over here. Easy enough for players to find. And then I'm going to sprinkle some windows around so that the players could investigate before going in, because that's important sometimes. So I'm going to put a couple windows towards the back. See, I'm just sticking them right over the Dungeon Tape itself. A couple of these stickers, so if players want to look in and maybe they could see that back entrance before they come in. Put a window by the front door, because that's pretty typical in buildings. And let's do one more window. Oh, for shits and giggles, let's put it over here. There we go. Now, without drawing anything with a marker, we've got a pretty good basic little building, but let's make it a little more fun. Add that alternate back route. Now I've got my cave walls or dungeon print tape. So I think that this back wall it's kind of coming out of the hillside. Maybe it tunnels down a little bit. See, I tore a little piece of the tape off the end so it didn't stick into the building there. Now, I've seen this tape used both directions by people, both with the rocky side inwards or the flat side. I think either works really well. Depends on if your cave or dungeon has kind of hard walls or if it's tunneled out. Since this is tunneled out, I'm going to put the rocky side on the inside. And we'll just kind of go with this. You know, maybe this goblin likes quick escapes. Maybe it's a shopkeeper or something. And, you know, goblins aren't the easiest people to get along with. He's probably had to make some exits. Now, caves are never super organized. So I'm going to give this guy a little extra room here. And this is important because if the players come through here, you kind of want a little bit of a choke point and then a wider area. The choke and then the release. This gives, if, let's just say the goblin tries to escape, the players want to chase them, this gives a single or one or two goblins a fighting chance on the players and kind of imposes a little restriction on your PCs. That makes it more fun to play, a little problem solving. So let's keep going. I'm going to make this turn, kind of starting to look like a stomach. Maybe that's what it wants. So we'll just make a real sharp turn in here. And now this cavern is getting kind of big. Might need some extra support. So I'm going to switch back to the wall tape. Put some columns in here. A couple haphazardly placed because, as we discussed before, goblins not great at building. Well, buildings, I guess. I don't know. Hey, I'm new to this video stuff. Give me a break. 3 support columns in the middle, and let's just kind of finish off this cave exit. I think it's going to go back this way. And then maybe here it becomes a little more well built, and I switch from using the rocky part of the tape on the inside to the flat part. So maybe here he had some help from others, or this started from a pre-built cave or tunnel, maybe some dwarves. And then I think the exit comes out this way. There we go. Pretty simple. And then put a little doorway on the end. Actually, let's close it off with some stonework. Probably sticks out of the hillside. Kind of do that. Put a little door on there. And since all of the tape and the stickers are made to draw on, I'm going to put a little S on this door so that the players and I know it's a secret. All right, thought I would add some interior walls. Go back to the stones, and let's see, I think this needs to be a quick wall. And let's just divide the whole thing a little bit in half on this side only. There we go. Now, this will give us the main room, which is slightly larger, a couple ancillary rooms for people to explore, one of which has the tunnel exit, as we talked about earlier. Going to give them all doors, because what's a room without a door? Now, put that guy there, and on the opposite facing wall, we're going to put this guy. There we go. Now, obviously this this building is a little sloppy, but it was done quickly. Dungeon Tape is not made for perfect maps. It's made for impromptu maps. It's made for saving time. You see, we made this map in just a couple minutes, and it's very clearly legible from across the room. No more going over and over and over marker lines, and save me a bit of time to where I can go in and fill in the details. Draw a bunch of furniture, maybe a bookshelf with a bust where if you pull it, opens up the door to the cavern. Who knows? Depends on what the story needs at the time. This is mostly proof of concept, and that's it. That's all. Video finished. I'm awkward at these things. Thanks for sticking around to my first ever video. I'm not even sure how it went. I'm assuming poorly, but here we are. Happy little dungeons. Bye. Get out of here. Go away. I know I said go away, but I forgot what the second part of this video was supposed to be, which is drawing standards. So I'm going to draw some quick trees. Trees are annoying for everybody. I've seen a lot of them end up as just circles, which is perfectly fine. But the important bits of trees are twofold. One, the trunk size, and two, how big the leafage is. And I guess the third important thing is if leafage is really a word. It might not be, but we're going to run with it. So I'm going to start up front because probably this goblin needs a shade tree up front. So we're going to draw a really big trunk. It's going to take up most of the space. I'm going to fill that in. A simple crosshatch will do. No need to make things solid. And as for the leafage, as we discussed, what I like to do is just get a little crazy with it. Do a lot of little zigs and zags. I'll give you a close-up, but I'll just show you kind of how quick it is. Kind of start outlining some coverage. A lot of trees will kind of have breaks in them, so I like to move back in towards the trunk as much as I can. I can draw over and kind of just let your hand zigzag back and forth. Give it a little rough look. This adds very little as far as gameplay, but makes your maps a little more immersive. Let me just finish this up real quick. There we go. Adds a little bit of texture. Like I said, I'll give you a close-up, but I think this view is important because if this map was on the table, you can see clearly how much easier of a time your players would have seeing where the walls and the doors are, where the cave is, and even the little columns inside, rather than the tree outside. To me, that's one of the most important parts of Dungeon Tape. The most useful things is that things are just clearer. You can easily see it from across the table through whatever distractions you have going on. Anyway, that's it. I'll give you a close-up to this tree real quick. All right, here's our final product. Here's our happy little dungeon. We've got a big tree up front, got a few rooms for your goblin to hang out in, and a little escape route at the bottom. Probably plant some bushes out here real quick. Just do some more zig-zag lines. Maybe it's a nice hedgerow. Kind of just squiggle them around, give them some breaks, and let's just say these are thorny, so I'm going to give a whole bunch of like little spikes in them just so everybody knows what's going on. I think that's it. Thanks for watching Happy Little Dungeons. My name is Joshua Cade, designer of Dungeon Tape, which is this stuff. Bye. And we'll roll and roll. Before we start with making maps, I thought it'd be fun. No, cut that. Alright, for our first dungeon, which is really just going to be a building, because let's face it, as a DM, you don't always get to choose. No, that's not. Alright, for the first episode of Happy Little Dungeons, we're not even going to make a dungeon. We're just going to make a little building, because sometimes the simple buildings are very necessary for the story and for roleplay, but kind of annoying to draw all the time. So, thought since it would help me as a DM, I would help you. Cut all that. All of that before. Cut it.